Thanks for tuning in to the Diaphragm Dynasty. I'm back with another edition of my podcast. Another discussion that I will be having today is about a age-old debate, so to speak, of is Usher's 8701 album better than his Confessions album? Now, it's kind of crazy to think because Confessions is considered one of the best albums in R&B history, and 8701 is really not in that discussion as Confessions is. Most people put Confessions probably in the top 5, top 10. They're not. I haven't seen many lists or any list that put 8701 in that top 5, top 10 category, even top 30. It's just so many albums to go through, and it's very difficult for one artist to get two albums in that into that realm of greatness. But just to break down this album, a lot of people, well, some people think that 8701 is better, but I call 8701 album just a prelude to Confessions because it sounds very similar to Confessions, but it sounds like the light version of Confessions, Confessions light, so to speak. Because a lot of songs about breakup and about hurt and about pain, a lot of these songs, and it has one party song, which is truly is called, that They Don't Know song, which was on the prelude video of the Usher and Alicia Keys My Boo video. They played that at the beginning, I believe. So that album 8701 is still classic, and especially with his catalog it is. And I'll kind of go through some of the songs on that as well, but just to compare 8701 to Confessions again, 8701 sold 5 million records and Confessions sold 10 million records, which is diamond. So 8701 went multi-time, multi-platinum, but to go diamond is a very rare feat. There hasn't been a lot of albums to do so in the grand scheme of things because we know there's been probably millions of albums released, but there only been probably less than 100 to go diamond because it's very difficult to do, especially in today's time. Back in the days of physical record sales and things like that, when you only had one access to get music, whether it be CD or cassette, it was a lot more reasonable or doable back in the day to do. Even though it's very difficult any way that you do it, but back then you had that outlet to where people needed to buy the album. But some of the songs on the 8701 was heartfelt. And I talked about some of these songs in previous stuff, but You Remind Me is the lead, which was the lead single. Excellent start to the promo for this album. Like I said, it's one of those songs that could have fit Confessions to a degree because of just the content and because of the production. Now, there's not a lot of talk about the production on this album. This production on this album was very stellar. Compared to Confessions, it's still not up there with that because he had so many different producers and he had like a greatest hit collection of artists on that album. But this 8701 was definitely classic when you think about songs like You Got It Bad and songs like You Don't Have to Call. Now, these songs were classic, but not only were they classic, but the videos. Now, I don't think if anyone has debated this, but Usher might be the best dancer in his era. Now we can't put him up there with Michael Jackson, Bobby Brown probably, but in his era from probably 94, 95 all the way to current day, Usher might be the best dancer of his era, especially for a musician, because his videos were classic. The choreography was great, Dancing in the Rain and all those different things. He definitely set a tone for those type of things. He brought those 90 elements into the 2000s and were able to still maintain his momentum of what he was doing because he got better as he dropped more albums until probably about, the album after Confessions. But then after that, it kind of plateaued. But up until My Way, all the way to, the album after Confessions, which was, I forget the name of that album, but he just kept gaining in momentum. But part of that mystique was his dancing ability and his appeal that he had for his fan base, mostly the women. But nevertheless, he definitely was a top dancer of his era. But this album had 15 songs on them, and 8 of the songs contained the simple letter U. Which I think that was by design because this was around the time of the chili situation and things that he was dealing with her allegedly. And so I think he was trying to send a message because a lot of the songs didn't have YOU, it just had the simple letter U. And I think that was by design, whether the writers did that or he wanted that in specifically, but more than half of the songs in this album made reference to that simple letter U, which I think is by design. Um, Songs like Can You Help Me, which is a song that I didn't initially like at first because the production seemed not there. But once it gets into the chorus, it just becomes a phenomenal production and phenomenal writing. I think Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did this song as well. So the production is always going to be on point, especially the writing as well. But that's one of the pivotal songs on this album. Um, and then another reason why this album was like Confessions is because the I Don't Know song, it's definitely a poppy sounding song that didn't fit the rest of the album. So the song, yeah, on Confessions didn't really fit the concept of the album, but it was a song they needed for radio play and things like that. This I Don't Know song really wasn't a big hit like that. And I'm not sure it ever made it to a single, but for some reason it fit. They put it on the album, but it really didn't fit the scheme of things. But nevertheless, this is a great album from Usher, a must have. Definitely in his catalog. It was one of the greatest in his catalog. It's got to be, top three probably in his catalog, next to Confessions, of course. Matter of fact, I'll put this album too behind Confessions probably, but uh, nevertheless, great album. But as always, thanks for tuning in to the Don Freb Dynasty. Until next time, I'll see you next time.